Every morning you stand in front of the mirror. You check how you look, but there are 6 things that mirror might be showing you, things most people walk right past. And researchers now connect to the earliest stages of Alzheimer's disease. This isn't about forgetting where you put your keys. The early signs of Alzheimer's are subtler than that. They show up in how you move, how you look, how you carry yourself long before memory problems become obvious. And after 60, knowing what to look for could be the difference between early intervention and a diagnosis that comes years too late. Today I'm walking you through 6 physical signs that appear in the mirror and what the research actually says about each one. Stay with me to the end, because I'll also share 3 things that are clinically shown to slow cognitive decline after 60. Welcome back. On this channel, we focus entirely on health after 60 because at this stage of life, the signals your body sends are different, subtler, and far too easy to explain away. Alzheimer's disease affects more than 6 million Americans, and the vast majority of cases are diagnosed late, after significant damage has already occurred. What most people don't realize is that the disease process begins years, sometimes decades, before memory loss becomes noticeable. During that window, the brain is sending signals through the body through posture, facial expression, eye movement, and physical coordination that we now know how to read. Sign number 1. Changes in your facial expression, specifically reduced expressiveness. Stand in front of the mirror and smile deliberately. Then relax your face completely and watch what it settles into. Research has identified something called facial masking or hypomimia, a subtle reduction in the natural range and speed of facial expressions as an early marker of neurodegenerative disease, including Alzheimer's and related dementias. The face becomes slightly more neutral at rest. Microexpressions, the tiny, involuntary movements that cross the face during conversation, become less frequent and less pronounced. This happens because the brain regions that control automatic facial movement are among the early targets of Alzheimer's-related changes. The change is gradual and subtle enough that family members often don't notice it consciously, but they may describe the person as seeming different or less engaged without being able to explain why. If people in your life have commented that you seem flat, distant, or less expressive than you used to be, or if you notice it yourself in photos or video, it's worth mentioning to your doctor. Sign number 2, changes in your gait. Specifically, slower or more shuffling steps. Watch yourself walk toward the mirror. Pay attention to your stride length, your arm swing, and how your feet leave the ground. A growing body of research shows that changes in gait, the way a person walks, can predict cognitive decline years before memory symptoms appear. Specifically, a shorter stride length, reduced walking speed, decreased arm swing, and a tendency to shuffle rather than lift the feet cleanly are all associated with early Alzheimer's and related dementias. The connection exists because the brain systems that regulate smooth, automatic movement overlap significantly with those involved in memory and executive function. When those systems begin to deteriorate, both movement and cognition are affected, often simultaneously, even if the cognitive changes aren't yet obvious. After 60, changes in gait are common and have many causes. Joint pain, muscle weakness, inner ear issues. But gait changes that appear without a clear physical explanation or that seem to be worsening gradually deserve a neurological evaluation alongside an orthopedic one. Sign number 3. One-sided facial drooping or asymmetry that wasn't there before. This is different from the kind of asymmetry most faces have naturally. What we're looking for here is a change, something that has shifted over months or years. New or worsening facial asymmetry, particularly on one side of the lower face, can indicate changes in the motor cortex or the nerve pathways connecting the brain to facial muscles. In some cases, it can be an early sign of transient ischemic attacks, mini-strokes, which are strongly associated with vascular dementia and accelerated cognitive decline. Take a photograph of your face today and compare it to one from 2 or 3 years ago. If you notice that one side of your mouth sits lower, that one cheek appears less full, or that your smile pulls consistently to one side in a way it didn't before, bring it up with your doctor. Sign number 4. Changes in your eyes, specifically reduced blink rate or a fixed, distant gaze. Look at yourself in the mirror and pay attention to how often you blink and what your eyes look like at rest. Research published in neurology journals has found that a reduced spontaneous blink rate is associated with dopamine deficiency, the same neurochemical pathway implicated in both Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. A normal blink rate is roughly 15 to 20 times per minute. People in the early stages of neurodegenerative disease often blink significantly less without realizing it. Separately, a fixed or slightly vacant quality to the gaze, what clinicians sometimes describe as a far-away look, has been noted in early Alzheimer's patients and is thought to reflect reduced engagement of the brain's attention and awareness networks. This isn't something most people can self-diagnose from a mirror, but if people close to you have commented on your eyes looking different, or if you've noticed in photographs that your gaze seems less focused than it used to, it belongs in the conversation with your doctor. Sign number 5. Neglect of personal appearance or grooming without a clear reason. This one requires honesty. One of the earliest behavioral signs of Alzheimer's is a decline in the motivation and executive function required to maintain personal grooming routines. Getting dressed, coordinating an outfit, maintaining hair and hygiene. These tasks require planning, sequencing, and self-awareness. When the prefrontal cortex begins to be affected by Alzheimer's-related changes, these routines are often the first to slip. The change is gradual. It might look like wearing the same clothes multiple days in a row, skipping shaving or haircuts that previously mattered, or showing less interest in how one looks in the mirror. It's easy to target to depression, low motivation, or simply not caring as much. And sometimes that's exactly what it is. But when this kind of decline appears alongside other signs on this list, especially in someone who previously took pride in their appearance, it's a meaningful clinical signal. Sign number 6. A subtle tremor or stiffness in the hands or face, especially at rest. Watch your hands in the mirror. Hold them out in front of you and let them rest completely. Then watch your face, particularly around the mouth and jaw while you're relaxed and not speaking. A fine tremor at rest, one that diminishes when you reach for something, but reappears when your hands are still, is one of the hallmark early signs of Parkinson's disease, which shares significant neurological overlap with certain types of dementia. Stiffness in the face, jaw, or neck that makes expression and movement feel slightly effortful is also associated with early neurodegenerative changes. This is distinct from the kind of hand trimmer that comes with essential tremor, a common and generally benign condition. The key difference is that Parkinson's-related tremor is typically present at rest and reduces with intentional movement. If you've noticed this pattern and haven't mentioned it to your doctor, do so at your next visit. Here are 3 things clinically shown to slow cognitive decline after 60, and you can start all of them today. First, cardiovascular exercise. Aerobic exercise is the single most well-supported intervention for brain health in older adults. It increases blood flow to the brain, promotes new neuron growth in the hippocampus, and has been shown to reduce Alzheimer's risk by up to 45%. 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week is enough to produce measurable benefit. Second, sleep quality. During deep sleep, the brain activates its glymphatic system, a cleaning mechanism that flushes out amyloid plaques, the protein deposits associated with Alzheimer's. Chronic poor sleep after 60 is now considered a significant independent risk factor for the disease. If your sleep is fragmented or unrefreshing, ask your doctor about evaluation for sleep apnea. It's common and it's treatable. Third, social engagement. Loneliness has been shown to increase dementia risk by up to 60%. Sustained social interaction challenges the brain's language, attention, and executive function networks in ways that solitary activities simply don't. Regular, meaningful conversation is not optional for brain health after 60. It's protective. Which of these 6 signs surprised you the most? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. If this was useful, share it with someone over 60 in your life. Early awareness is one of the most meaningful things you can offer the people you care about. New videos every week focused entirely on health after 60. No ads, no products to sell. I'll see you in the next one.